Hi there, and welcome to Facebook Live. It is Wednesday, Q&A Wednesday. Love these. I just can't believe it comes around so fast. So super excited about our topic this evening. I get all of my best topics from my clients and from those of you that pop up and have questions. So it's a good one tonight based on one of those myths and fallacies that come around that every year just have to deal with. And it's really amazing to me that the same myths still exist, because I find it fascinating that people think it's going to be this one way, that whatever it is that the media tells us is how weight loss works. And of course, when people don't see results, they keep searching and coming up with, what might be they think a different answer, but it's the same garbage coming in a different form, and then can't figure out again, why am I not losing weight? So let's get started on the topic tonight. The topic is, why is 1,200 calories not enough? Raise your hand if you have heard that before, that, hey, you know what? I need to go on a diet. I want to get lean. I want to get skinny. Hey, Adrian, I want to get somewhere. So, 1,200 calories. That's what I should do. No, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I don't even know where that myth came from, that would be an okay place to even start, especially for most women. That is not an okay option to start with 1,200 calories. So we're going to talk about why that it's not appropriate. If you think about it, what they use 1,200 calorie rule of thumb for is that is the least amount of calories that a human should eat and not have actually severe negative consequences. When you don't get enough calories, if you look over time throughout history, when there's been times of famine or, during the Holocaust and the people were starving, think about the kind of negative consequences that happened for those people when they didn't get enough nutrients and not enough food. They literally starved to death. That is not an okay thing. Things like hair falling out, and for those of you who've ever been in a position where we're hangry, we become very not nice people when we're hungry. So, there are some definite issues when we're not getting enough food. So let's talk about food in general, because for some odd reason, we all seem to think that food should be this amazing experience, which is true once in a while. So Matthew Bull says, hello from Vegas. So nice to see you. By the way, babe, somebody needs to be picked up right now. I'm just saying. So, sorry. The part of being a mom here. Food is fuel. Food can be a great experience. It can be tradition. Based on cultures, there's a lot that have to do with food, which is awesome. But if you think about it, food is what makes your body run. It's what makes it go. So if you don't give it enough food or fuel, you're going to have problems. Your body cannot keep going. So a couple of things to think about as we talk about this. I want you to think about in terms of, an athlete, who burns like 2,500, 3,500 calories a day. If that athlete only puts 1,200 calories in their body, are they going to be able to perform at an optimum level? Probably not, right? If you were an athlete in high school, remember, you could probably eat just about anything and get away with it back then because your body used it and burned it up. Unfortunately, a lot of athletes get out of college or high school and think they can still eat like that, but not put out the output of energy. And of course, that's where their bodies change a little bit, and that's a problem. But, again, for an athlete, that would be ridiculous to think that they could get away with only eating 1,200 calories. They wouldn't even be able to perform or function at their sport. Also, think about the fact that, a 1-ton diesel pickup uses a totally different amount of fuel because, right, it has a bigger gas tank, it has a bigger fuel tank than, say, a little Mazda 3, which obviously only needs, and some trucks even have 2 fuel tanks because it's a bigger system. It has to move more. It has to have more fuel. I want you to think about that in terms of a human body, right? If you are only eating 1,200 calories and you are 260 pounds, what happens when you lose 60 pounds? Are you going to exist on less than 1,200 calories? I work with so many clients who start out in a position where I actually have to fix their metabolism because they're not losing any more weight. Now, again, y'all know how I feel about losing weight. I don't like that term. It doesn't tell you where the weight's coming from. I can lose weight super fast. It's going to be muscle because I'm only 15% body fat at this point in my life. I don't want to lose weight. I might want to burn some fat. I might want to get leaned out, but we put way too much emphasis on the scale and what it has to say, and it's not appropriate, right? We want to be leaner. We want to be healthier. So when it comes to food, again, it's not about eating the minimum amount of food that can keep us alive. You realize that your body does not know the difference between a diet and starvation, right? I like to have my clients focus on a little bit on calories in, calories out. We're going to talk about how even that's not truly appropriate. The first thing that I will ask my clients as they start paying attention to what they're eating, what they're putting in their mouths, is how many calories a day are you burning? Almost everybody has a Fitbit these days, so it's really pretty easy to keep track of how many calories that you're burning in a 24-hour period. So when I was 210 pounds, and yes, I was at about age 28, I was about 210 pounds, the biggest I've ever been in my life, about 46% body fat. I was actually burning about 3,000 calories a day. Because I'm a bigger body, I have to use more calories to move, right? At that time, I was using something called a body bug, which doesn't exist anymore. Fitbit's pretty much taken the place of that. But what I discovered really quick was that at 2,400 calories a day, I was still losing weight because I'm burning about 3,000, 3,200 calories a day. I'm still at a deficit every day eating 2,400 calories. Here comes the problem. If your deficit in calories is over, say, 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day, your body assumes that you're starving. Why would it drop body fat or why would it drop weight if it thinks you're starving? That actually becomes a negative situation where your body will do anything it possibly can to help you survive. Your body has two things that it has to do for you without even thinking, doesn't even do it consciously. It's just the two things that it has to do for you. Number one, it has to survive, okay? And it also has to avoid pain. So if you aren't giving it enough fuel, if you're not filling your gas tank with fuel, your body will actually hold on to everything it possibly can because it has no idea when you're going to eat again, okay? So again, by starving your body or by not allowing it to have enough fuel, you're actually accomplishing the exact opposite of what your goal is. Instead of dropping body fat or losing weight, your body will actually hold on. Body fat is your body's way of trying to survive. It is a survival mechanism on multiple levels, not just trying to keep you alive. Your body actually, when you starve, will burn muscle as fuel before it will burn fat. Okay, which is completely not the appropriate option, right? Because the more muscle you have, the higher the metabolism. But because muscle is an expensive thing to keep, it will burn that over burning fat. Its sole goal is to preserve your organs, including your brain. So, the priority level of what it will use as fuel is not what you think it's going to be. It is not going to target fat stores for fuel if you're starving it, okay? I have some notes, so if I'm looking down, it's just because I want to make sure I cover everything that I thought about today. When you don't eat enough food, your body will actually decrease your metabolism to meet that expectation, right? So, if you're only eating 1,200 calories a day, your body, when people say, well, my metabolism's low, yeah, because again, it doesn't have enough food to actually run on. So you will, people talk about how they stop doing their diet, they actually gain everything back plus some. It's because now they're eating all these excess calories and their metabolism is so low because they've allowed it to drop that way. It's had to do that in order to survive. Okay. So, calories, we've heard calories in, calories out. Yeah, that's incredible. That's great. Blah, blah, blah. There is some level of truth to that. Hey, Noe. Because if you eat more calories than you burn, your body will retain the excess, right? It will do that. However, a calorie is not always a calorie. I've talked about this in the past where your body treats processed food completely different than it treats whole foods. Processed food is already a broken down, synthesized version of food, right? Not only that, it's usually void of most nutrients, including vitamins and minerals. So your body actually absorbs more of those calories much quicker. That's why it's really easy to get all your daily calories in one pizza, right? I find it fascinating when I get my guys, especially my guy clients, to eat a little bit healthier, and I'm giving them whole food options, and I give them, say, 2,400 calories, and they're freaking out. It's a lot of food when it comes to volume, right? But they could eat that in one pizza in one sitting because it's so much easier to do. Their body just sucks it all up because it's easy. It's processed. It's already broken down. Versus your body has to work so much harder to break down whole fresh foods, lean meats, vegetables, fruits. It has to work so much harder to break that down. Your body actually has to heat up thermogenically in order to break it down. It's why you get fuller faster. Okay. It's amazing how much food and volume of that is. Like I said, when it's clean, it's a lot more food to eat. And I just think it's super funny when guys are, I can't eat 2,400 calories. Yeah, but yeah, you could eat that whole pizza and the entire pitcher of beer. Yeah. So calories, not always a calorie, and the quality of calories do matter. So, 1,200 really crappy loophole calories. Hey, it's a protein bar and some protein ice cream. I don't care. Still freaking processed food. Get over it. The loopholes do not work. It's still got sugar. It's still going to be absorbed more easily by the body, and it doesn't give you the same vitamins and minerals that your body was designed to work on. Sean asks, will the body always choose muscle over fat for energy? If you're starving it, yes, it will. Because again, for every pound of muscle that you put on, your body needs 50 extra calories to just maintain that muscle. So there's a couple of things that your body has to do in order to keep muscle. Number one, when you lift, and you do have to lift, you can't just lift for a while and expect your body to keep that muscle. When you do strength training, you have to put an increased demand upon that muscle in order for your body to think, I still need to maintain and retain that muscle. You also have to support it with fuel, which is food. So if you're not giving it the right nutrients, it will break muscle down faster than it will tap into your fat stores. It just will. That's your body. It has a priority level of what it's going to use when it comes to fuel sources in your body. And that's what it will do, because again, it's just expensive to keep. So those of us that have a lot of muscle, we eat a lot of food. Dude, I eat more food than half the guys I know because I have a lot of muscle, especially for a girl. I have to eat in order to maintain that. That's super important. So my metabolism is through the roof, people, because I built it. So it is possible to build and repair a metabolism. I have had to do that more than once before I've worked with people in order to make sure that it does me no good to train someone who doesn't eat enough in order to build muscle. And girls, get over it. Stop calling it toning. It's all BS. It's called muscle. Just because you don't want to look bulky, you're not going to look bulky. You don't produce enough testosterone, nor do you freaking eat enough food to get bulky. Now, if you're building muscle and still eating a bunch of crap, yeah, you might look bulky because you're putting muscle underneath layers of fat, which that was kind of against the whole process in the first place, right? You're trying to get lean. I don't like the word skinny. I don't like the word diet because it has a connotation that's not appropriate. Diet technically just means what you eat on a regular basis. But unfortunately, in this day of age, we've come to make it mean sacrifice, willpower. There's a whole lot of negative associations with that. So I don't like to use the word diet. I tend to use the word meal plan. But all it means is just what you eat on a regular basis. Okay, so we talked about that fat is your body's way of protecting itself, like I said, in multiple ways. And I'm not going to get into all of that today, but again, your body fat actually holds on to toxins from all that processed garbage that you're putting in your body, from breathing in all of the garbage that's in the air, the pollution. And if you're feeding it full of processed food, it's going to be a real struggle to get your body to let go of the fat because it's storing all those toxins. As soon as you start to eat healthier and burn off some of that fat, one of the things I've discovered is a lot of my clients find themselves extremely sick at some point. Well, think about it. You're emptying those fat cells, and all of a sudden, all those toxins are recirculating throughout your body, and your immune system's down because you're building muscle. Your body's devoting that immune system to building muscle. You might get sick. That's one of the benefits of going slow and not trying to do this in a super fast manner. We're going to talk about that in a second. It's not appropriate to drop weight super fast. Again, it's probably going to be muscle, and your body now has to deal with all that garbage circulating back through your body again, and it's not fun. You cannot build muscle if you aren't eating enough calories. It is possible to lean out and build muscle at the same time. It just takes much, much longer, and it takes a very specific formula of calories in order to do that. When people cut out a nutrient, which of course, I'm not a big fan of any diet that cuts out a nutrient. And you know what? Again, I don't like diets in general. There is no one specific fabulous way, magic way that your body's going to drop all this weight or undo 30 years worth of damage or choices to your body in 3 weeks or 3 months. It doesn't work that way. You're best off to do it slow. And I think when most people think, again, I'm just not a fan of keto. I'm just not. But I think most people think of keto as, well, I'm just going to cut out the junk, the carbs, the sugars. Do that anyway. You don't have to go keto to cut crap. You just don't. I don't even care what you call it. Call it paleo. Call it Atkins. I mean, that's pretty much what keto is these days. It's just, you're just circling back through the diets and the garbage that everybody's talking about. Start eating healthy, clean, whole foods. Yeah, you can cut out some things that are going to make you run a little bit better. If you do cut out gluten, usually your body starts to do better because you're paying more attention, not just because you've just cut out gluten. Not everybody is gluten intolerant or allergic to gluten, but it is a highly allergenic nutrient. So keep in mind, sometimes just making some good choices make the biggest difference. But I digress. Let's go back to, if you're not eating enough calories, your body cannot build muscle because, again, it's not a priority to it if you're not getting enough of the right formula. It's kind of like if you bake a cake, right, and you might forget an ingredient, like say sugar, it would taste disgusting, right? Because cakes are supposed to be sweet, but it's still going to bake. It just might not turn out right, might not taste right, might not look right, but it will bake. If you don't give your body the right ingredients, it won't even try to bake the cake. It won't try to build the muscle. It can't. You haven't given it the ability to do so by giving it the right ingredients. And by restricting yourself to 1,200-ish calories, there's no way. All it's trying to do is barely survive, right? So, like I said, the biggest deal when it comes to 1,200 calories, I've had lots of clients that come to me, especially women, over 200 pounds, maybe between 210 and 260, somewhere in there. And they tell me, hey, I'm eating about 1,500 calories. My first question to them is, okay, so the smaller the car, the smaller the gas tank. Hey, Olivia. If you're only eating 1,500 calories at 260 pounds, what happens when you drop 60 pounds and you're 200 pounds? Are you going to just eat less than 1,200 calories? Again, your body's already not barely existing on that. So you have to make good choices right from the beginning. If you're struggling, plus if you hit a plateau when you're losing weight, it's probably because you didn't start with enough calories in the beginning. Because when I even work with competitors, if they're not eating enough food in the beginning, I can't walk them down to being shredded. I can't. They're not eating. If you start at 1,200 calories, where am I going to take you? I can't take you to starving. You're already starving. So it's a super important part of fueling your body is making sure you're getting enough calories. Okay. And again, macros count. Protein builds muscle, builds and maintains muscle. Carbs are your energy source. If you're doing keto and you're not giving your body any carbs for your energy, it has to take the proteins and turn it into glucose through ketosis in order to have enough energy. Well, now your protein's going towards energy and not towards muscle growth or retention. So really tough to do. Now, I'm sure some people are going to hop on here and argue with me. Really don't care. You can argue with me all you want. I'm going by science. I'm going by what I've seen experience-wise and a little bit of common sense. So I'm sure that people can show me some ways that it's worked before. That's incredible. But in general, most people's bodies can't do it that way. So here's the other thing. When you start to do a diet and you get to that point and you're going, wow, I just wish I had some willpower. I'm just really struggling. I really want cookies, or I want chocolate, or I want fruit. I want something. Cravings are your body's way of saying, dude, I need some food. And it will do whatever it takes. It has nothing to do with willpower. You're not feeding it enough food. Now, again, let's go back to the difference between hunger and hunger, okay? If you're hungry, freaking eat something. That is your body saying, I have a metabolism. I need food. I'm hungry. I need more energy source to function. If you're hungry here, it's a little different ballgame. That is more of a emotional or mental hunger. Sometimes we call it phantom hunger. That's a craving. That's your body. But sometimes your body will play with that. If it believes you are starving, which again, your body doesn't know the difference between a diet and starvation, you will crave food because it will do whatever it possibly can to get you to eat. That is your body's goal. Your body's goal is to live, right? And so in order to do that, you have to eat. Okay. Yeah, enough said about that. All right. So we talked about there is no one diet that works for everybody. Don't even like the word. Stop hopping on the next fad or taking the next pill. There are tools that help and that may work, but there's not one thing that will overcome, you're chasing down the food that you want. I hate the companies that come out with all these boxed foods or freezer filled foods. Guys, those are processed foods. Okay, there is no processed food that's a healthy option, just not. Flash frozen vegetables might be an exception especially when we can't get them within season. But if you can get something that's local and within season, that's your best option anyway. So, okay, so I've got a couple things here. Noe says, next live video, can you please do a video for the right techniques and forms? For what, hun? Techniques and forms. Okay, come back to me on that. All right, so the consequences are, when you don't get enough calories, like I said, your body starts to crave and you get hangry. So here's my tips, okay? Are we all understanding why it's important to get enough calories? Now, I haven't talked at all about how many calories are appropriate. It depends. Get a Fitbit, figure out how many calories you burn, and then base your deficit of calories on your output of energy for the day. But again, I care more about macros than just calories. For those of you who may not know, little information and education today. So for every gram of protein that you eat, it's 4 calories, okay? For every gram of carbs that you eat, it's also 4 calories. For every gram of fat that you eat, it's 9. So it's a little, obviously more calorie dense. That's why we can't eat an incredible amount of fat, but your body does need each one of those macronutrients in order to run correctly. And by the way, I talked about the proteins and the fat, or the proteins and the carbs. Fats actually help maintain all of your systems. It helps synthesize the nutrients that you are eating, break them down, and make sure they're working the way they're getting where they're supposed to go. But it also helps maintain all of your hormones. Your entire body is run by hormones. So they're all necessary, but there's good options and there's not so good options. Obviously, and don't give me this, well, it fits my macros. That's great. If it's still full of sugar, it's still full of sugar. It still has a negative effect, okay? I have, a while ago, maybe a year ago or so, one of our Q&As was, is sugar really that bad? Yes. Yes, it is. There's so many issues that have come down with added sugars because sugar's in almost everything. Again, topic for another night, but just keep that in mind. Okay, so noise come back. When people are lifting at the gym, I see a lot of people doing wrong. You know what? That is a good topic to talk about. We'll definitely take that into consideration. I have the most entertaining job in the world. I love going to the gym and watching people and just going, okay, I have no idea what they're doing. Just fascinating. Especially when, I'm going to show off. I'm going to lift as heavy as possible, but I'm not using the right muscles. Yeah, it's fascinating. So good topic, Noe. We'll have to address that. Okay, so back to my tips. So again, understand that depending on where you are, and yeah, I base it sometimes a little bit off of weight, but off of goals, how your body responds. Everybody's different. That's the important part. You can't take somebody else's diet. Well, I'm going to look like so-and-so, so I'm going to do exactly what she does. She might be an ectomorph and you might be an endomorph, which means she burns calories a whole lot faster and easier, and she has a higher metabolism than somebody like me who gains fat super easy. We can't use the same meal plan. It's just not going to work. But you can make some basic choices based on eating healthy. Again, eat clean, healthy, whole foods. Drink plenty of water. It's a whole lot easier to just start with the basics versus getting some intense, complicated meal plan, food prep, blah, blah, blah. Okay, enough of that. Okay, so base your calorie consumption on your output of energy. I know some people who have pretty intense work days, and when they're working, they need a few more carbs than, say, on the weekends when they're just lounging around. So, athletes, somebody who runs is going to need more carbs or complex carbs than someone who is strength training and trying to build or lean out at the time. Those formulas are just based purely on where you're at, where you're trying to go, right? And how your body responds. I like to look at things as formulas, right? If your formula is not currently working, you need to change a variable. So that's pretty easy to do. Write it down. That is one of the reasons why tracking your food is so important, because if I have no idea what you're eating, I don't even know what to change, right? Plus, it doesn't give you a good idea of where you truly are. It's too easy to fudge or to, justify what you're doing if you're not paying attention to it. You can ask any of my clients who have said, no, I don't need to track food. And then as soon as they do, they're going, oh my gosh, I'm getting so much more sugar and carbs than I thought I was. Okay. So quality of calories does matter. It just does. You can get 1,500 calories worth of pizza, but your body is just not going to respond to that as it is 1,500 calories worth of fruits, vegetables, proteins, and complex carbs. It's just different. If you think about it, what happens if you put really crappy gas in a sports car? It just doesn't run right? It sputters. It goes, okay, this is not... A sports car was designed to run on a higher octane fuel. So is your body, right? The more that you eat clean, when you go back to eating some of the crud you used to eat, I can't even do that anymore. If I eat really nasty food, like fried foods, just a lot of sugar, way too many carbs, a lot of processed food, my body the next day is angry and it tells me, right? So that alone, and I didn't even realize that. When I was a bigger girl, I did not realize how crummy I felt on a regular basis until I stopped eating like that. Now I eat much healthier, and when I do eat like that, because once in a while I'm thinking, hey, I'm gonna have a cheat meal. It tells me why I shouldn't do that on a regular basis. I have to really think about what I'm doing, even when I do have a cheat or a free meal. Stop focusing on instant results, guys. You can't undo 3 decades of choices in 3 weeks or 3 months. You just can't. And if you do, you're going to get the wrong type of results. Skinny fat is not cute, right? Skinny in general is not cute. And I know that there are people who are struggling to put on weight. Again, topic for another day. Be nice to those people. It is just as hard for an ectomorph or a hard gainer to put on weight as it is for somebody who's struggling to lose it. So be nice to each other. Different issues, but we're all struggling to be healthy. That is our goal. So again, you're better off to take your time and create those lifestyle habits so that you get results, because it's not how quickly you can take it off. It's how long can you keep it off. Okay. Stacy's asking, what are some healthy snacks you recommend? Okay. Well, obviously, my idea of healthy snack is going to be a little different than somebody else's. I'm all for just doing some smaller meals. My meals almost always consist of a lean protein, a complex carb, and some greens of some sort. But some great ideas. If you need a protein smoothie, which, might be a scoop of protein powder like vanilla, some fresh berries or some frozen berries, maybe a little bit of Greek yogurt. Watch the sugars. Those are great. Almonds are great, but again, because fats are more calorie dense, be careful as to how many. I would portion control them in advance, and you're better off with the raw than with all the stupid flavors and the sugar added, and of course, because sugar, right? I'm not gonna lie, I love rice cakes. They're not super full of nutrients, but they give me that crispy without, they're gluten-free. They give me a little bit of crunch. I like to do vegetables with maybe, for those of you that watched Meals with Melissa this weekend, we made some guacamas, which is guacamole and hummus together. Tastes amazing, by the way. Dip some fresh vegetables in there. Super fabulous. Now, for those of you who are saying, I don't like the taste of fresh vegetables, you want to know why? It's because you eat a bunch of processed food that has dulled your taste buds, and you need that intense flavor in order to taste good. Once you start eating a little more healthy and you start eating some of those fresh fruits and vegetables, you will actually crave the flavor because you will taste it. Your taste buds will actually crave whole foods versus the garbage that's been designed to get you addicted to it. So you just have to start it. That's part of it. Start eating healthier and you will actually like the flavor of fruits and vegetables. Respect your body. You know what? I don't love it when I hear people say, I looked in the mirror and I just don't like how I look. I'm so ugly. I'm so fat, blah, blah, blah. Can I just tell you that until you fix your head, you will not fix your body. Because even if you get to your goal weight or wherever you're trying to go, your goal leanness, if you haven't fixed those internal voices in your head, you will never be happy, right? I find that when you are confident and happy with where you are and patient and respectful of your body, you're in a better head frame and a better place in order to make those changes and to have them stick. If you're constantly at yourself and beat yourself up, you just won't get where you want to go. Those negative voices and those negative records over and over and over in your head will actually sabotage your efforts to get where you want to go. So you can't think that fixing your body is going to fix your head. It's the other way around. You have to be patient. You have to have compassion for yourself. You have to respect your body. It works really hard for you, even by the choices that you make by, maybe eating some things that you shouldn't. Don't look in the mirror and hate yourself. Just don't. It's not healthy. There's something to be said for being mentally and emotionally healthy, along with physically healthy. The physical part technically is the easy part. It's the stupid things in our head, the voices, I'm not good enough, I'm not healthy enough, the guilt that actually brings us down. So don't do that. You won't, like I said, you won't ever be happy if you do that. Even if you reach your goal, you're not gonna be happy with yourself. So my point tonight being is that, I find it really disturbing that the trend or the the fact that is supposedly so well known is that if you want to lose weight and be lean and skinny, you just need to eat a lot less calories. That's not true. You need calories for your body to run. You just need to eat less crap. That's part of it. Eat less sugar, less processed food, drink less soda pop. Those foods are not designed for your body to run. They're not healthy. They're not delivering any nutrients. Yes, they might give you some energy. A lot of times that quick energy from the quick carbs or the sugar, the added sugars, yeah, that might give you some energy real quick, but it's going to drop you as soon as it runs through your system. So it's not a healthy, long-lasting form of energy. Eat better, eat healthier foods, eat more often during the day so you can support your energy output. But above and beyond, I can't even talk tonight. It's definitely evening. Above everything else, make sure that you're just eating for your body. Stacy has said that the HCG diet is ridiculous. Yeah, you know what? Again, not a fan of any diets out there where it completely restricts your calories. Any diet or any meal plan that tells you you cannot exercise is ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous because exercise is necessary. Remember that nutrition actually determines size and exercise determines shape. So anything that restricts your ability to exercise or work towards something healthy is not okay. And I don't even care if doctors came up with it. You understand that doctors get 19.6 hours on average of nutrition education in medical school. They aren't the ones that are going to, not all of them. I'm going to say I know some great doctors that really do a good job at pushing nutrition and prevention as part of, fixing some things or solving some issues. But for the most part, you go to the doctor, they're trying to cover a symptom. They're trying to change the symptom and not get to the root of the problem. And most problems can be taken care of, even disease, with nutrition. It just can. So like I said, any diet that restricts your calories under that 1,200 calorie minimum, I'm sorry, it's just dumb. And you know what? Y'all can quote me on it. Really don't care at this point. Your body cannot function. It cannot survive on that. It's too extreme. And not only will you might get some instant, quick, convenient success, but you won't remain that way. I want you to think back really quickly. A lot of people think, okay, well, they'll ask me questions, I'll give my advice, and then they'll come back with, yes, but I heard. And then my response to that is always, and how is that working for you? Because you wouldn't have come to me if you were having success in that category or using that technique. Anything that is a quick, fast, convenient, it has going to be some secret pill, secret diet, BS, whatever, is not going to give you long-term results, because isn't that the goal? Don't you want long-term health, energy? That's what I eat so that I can have energy, so I can be part of my kids' lives, so that I can live a long time, I can have a quality of life, and that I can build the muscle and strength that I need in order to have I want to remain independent forever, and nobody's going to ever have to take care of me. I'm going to be independent forever. I'm not going in a nursing home. I'm going to do the best I can to be as healthy as possible, because, I've got 5 kids and I'm ready to love on them for a long time. So, okay. All right. Rant over. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I will do the best I can to go back through and answer any questions that you were asking that I might have missed. Thank you for the ideas for the topics for our future Q&A Wednesdays. Like I said, I get my best ideas from you guys. You can also email me at melissa@fillmorefitness.com. And you can also direct message me through Facebook as well. I do the best I can to respond as quickly as I can. It's just a really busy season, of course, with the New Year's going on and everybody's got some goals, right? But thank you. Thank you for hopping on there. And until next week, we'll talk to you soon. Stay healthy.